And what about the different difficulties? Let's discuss it in this video. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and don't forget to hit that like button. You probably already know that you can play Horizon Zero Dawn on different difficulty settings. It's actually something I discussed in one of the earlier Horizon videos I did. So yes, but what kind of difficulties? Over on Twitter, RIP Eric Garner asks game director Matthijs de Jonge what the difficulty setting in the game are, and he simply replies with, there are 4 settings: easy, normal, hard, and very hard. What we heard from people that already played the game during an early preview event, where the game was probably on the normal setting, is that the game was already pretty hard. Even on the Guerrilla Games stream, the player died many times in the beginning area, something he probably played a lot of times already. I mean, he works for Guerrilla Games, so yeah, you get early access to the game, you already played the game, you give some feedback. He still died, so it's a hard game. This is mostly because of the action combat. Okay, gear matters in this game, but you also have to know how to fight against this machine, when to roll away, and what you can do to counter it. Then you also have to know what type of arrows you can use, or what weapon is the best against this enemy. Every time you encounter a machine for the first time, you will scan it for its weaknesses. What I'm trying to say is that you will probably get some sort of Dark Souls experience when you play this game on very hard. In the stream by Guerrilla Games, yes, the one where they died a lot, they also talked about what would change if you put it on a harder difficulty. Of course, the enemies will hit harder, so you take less damage before you die, but also the herbs and other collectibles do not appear in the world as often as if you would play this game on, for example, the easy difficulty. So that will make it way harder to find stuff to craft, for example, a potion or an arrow with. This of course sounds harder. I mean, less potions is less times that you can heal yourself. But it also sounds a little bit frustrating to me. If you have to look way better to get some herbs or other stuff, it might simply take way more time to get the ingredients you want. We don't know, obviously, how this will shake out in the end, but this is just my immediate reaction. It does make the game harder, of course, but it could also make it less fun. But we will have to wait for the reviews for that. But it's good to know this before you were planning to put this game on very hard. Still do it. But yeah, I warned you. Hopefully you can change it on the fly. If you are, for example, in the mood for a tough battle against the Thunderjaw, then you can, let's say, switch it and not have to play the whole game over again. Hopefully the difficulty switch in the menu, just open the menu, change it like manually, would be awesome. Hopefully that's in the game. So what about New Game Plus? Obviously, New Game Plus means that you can replay the game after you've beaten it, but still hold on to your loot and weapons. But all the enemies, etc. will scale as well. So if you are, for example, level 35 and you start the whole game over again, all the enemies will be around that level as well. Over on Twitter, RIP Eric Garner. Yes, this episode is really powered by this Twitter account. Anyway, he or she asks, will there be a New Game Plus mode? Where Matthijs simply replies, you can keep playing after completing the main storyline, you can keep your loot, loadout, etc, but no New Game Plus. So this is interesting because this means that it will simply not stop, but you can still finish off side quests that you haven't beaten, or maybe hunt on a monster that you haven't killed. And personally, I think that this is way more exciting than a New Game Plus mode. I can totally imagine, for example, that there are machines that we don't know of right now. Okay, I think we can clarify that this is the case. Thanks again, Matthijs de Jonge on Twitter, game director on Horizon Zero Dawn. Great job. So I think it's a safe bet that there are machines that are more powerful than the Thunderjaw. Machines that you can't simply beat the first time you see them. But maybe after the story you can train a bit, get some tools, traps and arrows together and then try it. This really reminds me of the huge enemies in Final Fantasy 15, for example, or Xenoblade Chronicles. Enemies that you can go back to and kill for some awesome loot or maybe a trophy. Enemies that you could not kill before, and with the enemy structure of Horizon Zero Dawn, I can totally see this being the case, that there's like a huge enemy, maybe a Tallneck, you can kill a Tallneck, that would be insane, or other huge enemies that we simply haven't seen in the game before. Man, I'm super excited. So, on what difficulty are you going to play the game? I haven't told you what I'm going to do, so I will now. I will probably go for the normal mode. Fingers crossed that you can change it later, like, yeah, when you're a player. But I play all my games on normal, and I also want to make some content for you guys. So, if I get the game early, I can maybe show off some awesome stuff when the embargo lifts. So, fingers crossed for that, because if I then put it on, like, very hard, then I will just have a a very hard time against even a watcher. I will just not advance in the game, and I totally want that. So that's why I'm going for normal. But let me know what difficulty setting you are going to use in the comments down below. Subscribe for way more Horizon content. Got a ton